this is Clarice Lim from I Love Learning Achievement Center. Today I'm going to review this book, Classroom English by Casco. Okay, so this is a book full of vocab cloze, grammar cloze, and comprehension cloze. So all together in the content page, it is stated that there are 50 practices altogether, and each of the practice is broken up into vocab cloze. There will be one vocab cloze in each practice, two grammar cloze in each practice, A and B, and then there will be a comprehension cloze in each of the practice. But the comprehension cloze, just like the previous book that I have actually reviewed, which is the same publisher, How to Score Synthesis and Transformation, Compre Cloze and Vocab Cloze, that book. You can look into my playlist for that review of that book. So the Compre Cloze actually has got two different types. One type is the free response. However, the free response is not exactly free in a way because they actually give this jumbled up letters for each of the response here. So there is actually a very guided fixed answer for each of the open-ended comprehension cloze, which is something I mentioned in the previous video as well. The jumbled up letters over here will give the students an alternative practice, which is actually to unjumble letters instead of trying their best to understand the cloze passage, come up with the answers for it. So in a way, this becomes a defeated purpose of the practice because the practice is really to test the children, or rather to give them an exercise to practice answering this cloze passage based on their understanding, based on the sentence analysis, based on their understanding in English. So I really don't encourage the publisher to continue this jumble up letters for comprehension cloze open-ended. It really defeats the purpose of a meaningful practice in comprehension cloze. The other one will be more of responses are given and they are just supposed to fill up. So that one is also quite a fixed response required. So not many open-ended understanding of the passage kind of cloze passage in this book. So if you were to ask me, there are about 150 cloze exercises inside. For $7, I would think the price is okay, but if you were to minus up all the jumbled up exercises, that is about 25 passages like that with the jumbled up letters. So minus that, you get about 125 exercises still at $7. I would think, okay, value for money, 3 stars. Right? Who will I recommend this book for? I will recommend this book actually for the P2. Why do I say P2? P2 GEP potential. When we talk about the GEP program, we talk about the Gifted Education Program, which is a program catering for the higher ability. I do understand the controversy behind this GEP program because there are people who say that these are only for the elite kids and it's not fair for the other kids because it's like some kind of biasness in that. But I would like to say that if the child really is talented, it will be very meaningful for the child to go through the GEP program, provided the parents do not over-drill the child. Why do I say that? Because there is always an extreme. Why do I say that? Because there are always the extreme in education. There will be the high ability and there will be the low ability, there will be the middle ability. And I strongly believe that every single child has got their own peak performance potential. The peak might be different peaks. So for example, your peak might be Mount Everest. Other people's peak might be K2. Some people's peak might be Gunung Stong in Malaysia, for example. So as long as we do not chase or rush our children to climb other people's peak, but to peak at their own pace and their own ability, I think that is absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged. And this is what we actually advocate in I Love Learning. We actually, this is a dirty word, cherry pick. We cherry pick potential children. Okay, why do I say that? We accept all students in our center. Of course, we don't cherry pick in terms of enrollment, but we do cherry pick in terms of those that we think has the potential for the GEP program. Why do we do that? Because our program actually caters to the training of learning ability from 2 years old onwards. So far, students who has been following us from 2 all the way until their GEP screening test, we do have 100%, okay, mind you, it is 100% passing of the first screening test of GEP. A lot of other centers wouldn't be able to claim that, but I do claim that because I do admit that we cherry pick because children who follow us from 2 years old onwards, we actually train them in learning ability, which is the working memory, mental flexibility, and inhibitory control. So these 3 basic learning abilities are trained by us since 2 years old. So by the time they reach the P3 screening test, there will be a pool of students whom we would have identified to be able to easily breeze through this GEP screening. Okay, so out of the 10 that actually follow us through all the way from 2 years old until P3, we do have a very high percentage, 70% of the students who are cherry-picked for the program, for the GEP training by us. Okay, and we identify them at a very young age, usually by 6 or even by 7 P1. We already know this child is GEP potential. Let's get this child ready for the screening test. And we have 100%, those 70%, those 7 out of the 10 students we train, 100% got in through the first test, first round. Congratulations to these children. I know you just got the results back, okay? So why do we do that? Because when these children, they have the potential, their peak is at a higher level, and so we train them to reach their peak. And I think this is very, very important because different people has got different potential. So we train these children to reach their potential. It is not about drilling. It is not about pushing unnecessarily. It is not about learning inappropriate things at inappropriate levels. It is really because these children have the potential and we train them to reach their highest peak. Okay, so if your child is one of those, or if your child is actually identified by some other educators, or even in my center you have been identified, I will encourage you to try this book starting from P2 onwards, because one of the tests for the P3 screening exam is actually closed passage, and closed passage is something that gifted kids will not have much issues tackling, but they do need experiences. Of course, I do have children who comes in late, like let's say P3, and the parents say, oh, my child is very gifted, actually diagnosed to be a high IQ. So they come in at P3 and then they tell me, okay, I want my child to pass a GEP screening. And I will say, I'm sorry, ma'am, high IQ doesn't mean you can go into GEP. Different children has different peak, like I said. So I will explain to the parent that training is required, and we do need the child to gain experience in answering closed passages, comprehension, and improve on their vocabulary before they can pass the first round of GEP screening. Therefore, if your child is one of the identified ones, you will need to train them in closed passages. And then the question comes, isn't that artificially drilling them? I would say it's preparation. Like I said, if you are identified to have the potential, preparation are still important. For example, not everybody has the ability to climb Mount Everest, but there are certain group of people who are physically more attributed to be able to do that. But you do need the training still in order to make your body, in order to prepare your body to face up to the challenge of mounting Mount Everest, isn't it? Therefore, training is still important, preparation is still needed, no matter how high your IQ is, okay? But if you are not the identified ones, is this book still useful? Of course it is. For P3 level, I think this is very good for exposure, for anybody to go through these exercises and gain a lot more experience in closed passages, because closed passages, as the years go through from P3 to P4 to P5 to P6, closed passages are usually the hardest for a lot of children, because Singaporeans, we don't speak very proper English. Our sentence structures can be a bit not that accurate. Therefore, closed passages forms the hardest component in the test papers, and a lot of children has a lot of difficulties in closed passages. So by the time PSLE is about 15 marks out of the main paper, the paper 2, 95 marks, 15 marks out of 95 is actually on closed passages. So getting them on a good foundation from a P3 onwards, definitely a plus point. So suitability in terms of use for this, I would say self-use, no problem. Parents guided, no problem. Tutors you want to use, so go ahead. So this is quite a easy book to mark. So because the answers are all at the back, very clear. The only thing about the answer key is that there are no alternatives suggested for the comprehension cloze, because like you understand, comprehension cloze can have many different options. For example, if you say the character is hungry, you can also say the character is starving. It's not wrong. It can be accepted, isn't it? The answer hungry and starving are both correct. However, the answer key doesn't suggest that because they have the jumbled letters at the end as the suggested answer, isn't it? Therefore, this is extremely guided. The jumbled up letters shouldn't be there. Answer key, therefore, I will give only 3 stars. Presentation layout, 5 stars, not an issue. Everything is well presented and clear. Concepts covered in terms of the difficulty level of the vocabulary, I would say not bad. 4 stars based on the usage I've recommended, which is for P2 GEP potential and P3 ability students. Errors, I don't spot any so far, 5 stars for this. So overall, how many stars will I give? 4 out of 5. Okay? Thank you so much. Do subscribe and like our videos. Bye-bye.